stars of the NCAA championships.
I was raised in a good family, and my dad always told me, you're just like everybody else. You put your pants on the same way everybody else puts your pants on. Just be yourself, be cool, calm, and collective, and everything will, fall in place. That's what I've done.
Shaq was kind of the Paul Bunyan of basketball. That's how I would describe him.
Shaq, that's some rack you've been going to tonight.
I think Shaquille is about the most physical player I believe that I've seen since Chamberlain.
Can't stop that, O'Neal slammed up.
He just had a knack for the ball. It was a magnet. He went after the ball, and he was fearless.
Rebound is O'Neal. Nobody there can challenge O'Neal. He gets the easy slam dunk.
I don't think there has ever been an athlete of that size that possesses his quickness of foot and his explosive leaping ability.
Oh my goodness!
Shaq was so strong on the offensive end, but he was probably even stronger on the defensive end.
Just took it away. And blocked by O'Neal, and he takes it away.
His quickness to the ball and off the floor whenever he had to jump.
Blocked by O'Neal.
Those things were just awesome.
Shaq leads the break. Oh!
He could run the court. He could knock shots into the planet Uranus if he wanted to.
Blocked by O'Neal.
Shaq said, get it out of here.
What a play!
To say that Shaquille O'Neal was a good rebounder is like saying candy tastes slightly sweet.
No good, put back up, no good, he got it again. This time it'll go!
He had tremendous enthusiasm, fantastic endurance.
Shaq is off and running in the second half. 3-on-1, Brandon to O'Neal, swish! One dribble to O'Neal, underneath, two-hand slam, dunk. Let's see if he drives on Ralston. He does it, slams it home, holy cow!
He was proud of being a big man. He walked with his shoulders thrown back.
O'Neal, slam dunk! Beats O'Neal, flush!
I think Shaquille got sick and tired of being hung on by all these Lilliputians.
4 guys on him, and O'Neal shoots it, no good. Got it back again.
He is, in terms of combination of size, speed, strength, and explosiveness, the finest basketball athlete that has ever been.
With Shaquille O'Neal, LSU never made it past the NCAA second round. But it was still crystal clear early in his tournament career, Shaq was something special.
How big can you possibly be at 18 years old? In his case, 7'1", 286.
Loop it in. Oh, I thought that was going out the back door. I'm glad the basket's still up there. Look at the basket just shaking.
A lot of the players that surrounded Shaquille weren't as multi-talented as he, so we did rely on him. We rode the horse too much.
O'Neal's best performance came in 1992, when he was too much for Brigham Young in the opening round. Early and often he made his presence felt, especially on the defensive end.
Blocked by O'Neal. Block number 6 from Shaquille O'Neal. What a great block. 7 blocks. O'Neal now with 21 points, 12 rebounds, and those 10 blocks make it 11. He has the record all to himself. Shaquille O'Neal leaves to a rousing ovation from the Tiger fans.
The cheers continued in the next round against Bob Knight and Indiana. Despite being double and triple teamed, O'Neal powered LSU to a 14-point lead.
It's O'Neal going for a slam dunk, and he's much too strong.
But early foul trouble forced Brown to sit Shaq, and as soon as O'Neal disappeared, so did the lead. Shaq, however, roared back in the second half and finished the game with 36 points, a 1992 tournament high. Still, in the end, it wasn't enough.
He did everything there was to do to advance us into the regional tournament. We did not have good enough firepower from outside. There was a tear in his eye when he finally knew it was over, and I knew it was over too. I knew it was time now for him to move on to another level.
With Lewis, I expected to win, as we were expected to win.
Bruins trying to add to their lead. Alcindor back to the basket, gets the ball in the lane, the hook good.
I loved and pursued excellence in basketball.
Into Alcindor. 2 more.
When you got the ball to him, it was almost an automatic score.
Alcindor turns with his jumper, hits it.
He was unstoppable inside.
Gets the ball in the lane, the hook good.
Block shots, intimidate the opposition.
Puts up his shot, blocked by Alcindor, and he pulls it out.
Lewis is the most valuable player that I ever had, one of the most valuable I've ever seen.
No good. Alcindor on the rebound, up good.
He forced opponents to change their style at both ends of the court.
Blender to Rain, he fakes, puts up his shot, blocked by Alcindor.
We played teams that had no idea what we could do, really. They just weren't equipped. They didn't have the speed or the rebounding or anything. We just outclassed them.
Lew Alcindor began outclassing his NCAA tournament opponents in 1967. After beating Houston at the Final Four, UCLA cruised to the title by grounding the Dayton Flyers to complete an undefeated season. With Alcindor's first championship in hand, the Bruin dynasty was about to take off.
I know I have Alcindor back for 2 more years, and with him, I felt we had the foot in the door. I honestly felt that. Now, I know that you get the foot in the door, they may slam it on you and break your foot if you're not careful.
The next season, the University of Houston and its star center, Elvin Hayes, looked to break the UCLA mystique when the teams met at the Astrodome in a college basketball classic.
We had the 2 best players in America, in Elvin Hayes and Alcindor, and they were #1 team and we were #2.
1 and 2 in the nation. Both teams have something to prove.
On this night, the Big E proved to be too much for Alcindor, as Lew, struggling with an eye injury, played one of the worst games of his career. At the other end, Hayes was unstoppable, scoring 39 points for the Cougars, leading Houston to a 71-69 win that would haunt Alcindor until their next meeting.
I took the Sports Illustrated cover depicting Houston's win in the Astrodome. I put it in the back of my locker. I left it there all season, just as a reminder of what we had to deal with to get back to our rightful position.
That position was on top, and when the teams met again in the semifinals of 1968's Final Four, UCLA had its chance for revenge.
It was just an opportunity to show that we were a better team.
It was for pride.
Alcindor's pride and talent loomed large that night, and by halftime, the Bruins' balanced attack had opened up a 53-31 advantage. Defensively, Alcindor and UCLA smothered Hayes, who finished the game with only 10 points. It was a complete display of domination that didn't end until Alcindor had wrapped up his second national title.
Alcindor goes out, holding up a victory sign.
#1 is the best you can be. To have the right to do that is what we played the game for.
He revolutionized the game from the standpoint that you never had seen a big man to be able to pass and to score and to put as much pressure on defenses. Lew Alcindor was probably one of the greatest college basketball players to ever don a uniform.
Alcindor's senior year brought yet another championship, as he became the only person in tournament history to win 3 consecutive Most Outstanding Player awards. It was a fitting conclusion to a great career.
It's really kind of unbelievable what happened, but a very wonderful part of my life, and one that I always will think of fondly.
For UCLA, that's 3 straight titles.
Maybe they can get a lob available. Chapman's helping on a lob. There it is. Oh! There it is.
They just seemed like they always grunted at you and they just ran you over and dunked on you.
On the line. Here comes
I haven't run across anybody who was any more of a warrior than he was on a basketball court.
One of the things about Patrick was his incredible leadership to win.
Play catch, and now Patrick gets inside the smaller man and he delivers his own message.
The common denominator in Patrick Ewing is winning. All the other glory that goes along with great accomplishments are put on the back burner to him. The only thing that's important is winning.
Georgetown having the two bangers. Oh, and Ewing comes with the lob and he says, let's go.
Oh, definitely. Winning is what it's all about. The way that I always led was by example. And I feel if I'm out there working hard, then everybody else, would take that into consideration and they would work hard.
From the start of his first title game in 1982, it was obvious that Patrick Ewing would have an impact on the NCAA championship.
I think he was trying to establish a tone in the middle, and we wanted him to establish a tone in the middle.
Here's James Worthy, and that'll be another goaltending.
He wanted to establish his presence inside to let them know if you do come in, it's going to take an outstanding shot to get it in the basket.
It's pass to Perkins. Ewing got a piece of it. Perkins, Ewing again, and that'll be a goaltending call. That's an excellent call.
As intimidating as Ewing was on defense, he was equally impressive on offense.
Ewing's got the lob. There it is. Ewing follow trips. Ewing again. Ewing again. Ewing again.
Patrick's 23 points weren't enough to overcome a powerful North Carolina team. But 2 years later, a more mature Ewing led Georgetown back to the Final Four. And this time, he refused to be denied.
Ewing got his position. They won't stop him.
Patrick Ewing was just a force. I mean, he was an embodiment of a menacing Georgetown persona. They were like, these guys are going to knock your head off. If it was ever going to be a shutout in college basketball, Ewing's Georgetown, he was going to beat somebody like 38-0.
Against Kentucky in the national semifinals, Ewing dominated on both ends of the floor. Georgetown's 53-40 victory put the Hoyas just one win away from the school's first ever national championship. It also set up the showdown everyone wanted to see. Ewing against the University of Houston's Akeem Olajuwon.
Extremely strong.
Playing against Patrick is something special. I mean, when he spread his hands in his own defense, it's like covered. You can't see the basket. I mean, he's a very dominant player.
Comes all the way over to Jackson. Georgetown, that's the ball game. The national champion.
The '84 title highlighted the brilliant tournament career of Patrick Ewing, which included 3 championship games and a legacy of intimidation that all adds up to one thing.
I'm a winner.
There hadn't been many power forwards like him who had the skills, the short jump shot, the ability to kind of turn in the lane. Just a serious inside player.
I remember James Worthy's extension dunking in my face.
The desire to want to be complete and to be the leader who wants to take that last shot, who wants to handle that ball. That's when you separate the take charge guys.
The one thing about James Worthy, the bigger the game, the better he played.
That quality was most evident at the 1982 Final Four, when North Carolina's high-flying forward James Worthy consistently rose above everyone else.
I think it was 4 corners. He had the ball in the corner. They were hesitant to go out on him. He faked like he was going to dribble out, and then he went to the basket. And Mishaw, unfortunately, was under the basket. And James went up and kind of changed direction midair and just slammed it right on him.
Here comes Worthy. Look at him handle the ball at 6'9". He'll take it. Oh!
And even though we didn't fast break much in college, it seems like his dunks were patented with that one Eiffel Tower, Statue of Liberty type dunk. I was just able to drive and get probably one of the most memorable dunks of my career.
In the second half, into Worthy, power move against Mishaw. Into Worthy, tough shot. 6 in the field, Worthy, power move, and now.
Most players visualize what they would like to be, or they fantasize about what kind of game they would like to have. Once you get that boost of confidence throughout the game, you begin to actually live that visualization.
His best performance as a Carolina player was in the finals against Georgetown.
Doherty tipped up and in by Worthy. I should say slammed it.
He just took off. I mean, he was like man among boys.
Doherty, beautiful pass to Worthy.
We always felt that James Worthy was the one that broke our back in that game because our matchups were having a problem. James was in the center position playing a lot, naturally a forward with the mobility and agility that he had. He was too big for our forwards and he was too quick for our centers.
And if you take away his outstanding game, they're not even close. But he carried them on his back as a superstar he is, and he rose to the occasion.
Worthy's game-high 28 points kept Carolina close down to the final seconds. And although it was Michael Jordan who hit the winning jumper, it was Worthy who fittingly ended up with the ball in his hands as time wound down.
Look for Sleepy Floyd. Look. Oh, he threw it to the wrong man. He threw it to Worthy. It's over. It's over. He's fouled.
Probably more shocked than anybody because he threw it to me. Once I realized that it was a fluke play, it was probably the greatest feeling I felt in sports.
Tournament time often brings out the best in players. With all eyes focused on the biggest game of their lives, some are fortunate enough to leave a mark on the NCAA championship.
I don't really know what we could have done to have stopped him that night.
Gibbs in by Gibbs.
Greg Kelser was the guy everyone figured, boy, is he a great college player.
Oh, yeah, he was excited. And they called him Clyde the Glide because he'd take off, he might take one step and be at the basket dunking it.
Drexler, great speed on that play. Wittenberg, he can tie it up.
It was just a remarkable shooting performance, and it was, as far as coaching goes, that's one of those where you kind of sit there and clap.
Here's the long-range bomber. Field again, but he got it to.
He was quiet, called easy Ed, but when it came to play against Patrick, he really came to play.
Watch this move. Great pass inside to Smart.
Keith had a very good final 5 minutes of the game where he really took over the game.
Smart takes the shot, and the Hoosiers with 3 seconds. Brings Morton, who's been the scoring sensation, up with the layup.
We ran a couple things for him, but essentially it was John penetrating.
Morton will try to go all the way for the layup.
He just stepped up.
Morton for a breakout. Spinner. He's got it. 2 seconds at the buzzer. Bobby up the right side on Anthony, all the way flying. Layup, score the goal. He's fouled to the plane.
Bobby's a winner. You can critique his game however you want, but Bobby Hurley wins.
Hill comes off with it, hit to Bobby Hurley. Bobby stops, pops, scores! Right. Bill Colton. Oh, can you believe he got that high?
He was slow and slithery, and then all of a sudden he exploded and finished.
Sends a pass left side. It goes to Grant Hill, diving underneath. Reverse stuff! Grant Hill with a...
He did it whatever it took to win. If it was a rebound, if it was a block shot,
The shot blocker, Danny Manning.
if it was a steal, if it was a pass,
The pass off beautifully that time.
if it was a pat on the butt to a kid that was struggling. He did it.
Whenever you step out on the court, you're confident that your abilities are going to help you and help your team win.
Jayhawks have
Kansas City.
In 1988, that meant the Final Four, where the Kansas Jayhawks and coach Larry Brown looked to advance past Duke, while All-American Danny Manning looked for redemption.
I can reflect back to '86, and you know, it's pretty well documented, all the talk about how we failed and how he had failed.
Manning rising up. There's a personal foul, his second. Manning shooting only 1 of 7. Manning and Riley have fouled out for Coach Brown.
I think he had something to prove.
It was something that we wanted to do. We wanted to beat him, and we got that chance, and we came out and we jumped on Duke early.
An early 9-point explosion by Kansas.
Manning's 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 blocked shots buried Duke in the bad memories of '86 as the underdog Jayhawks advanced to the championship game.
I think that Danny, being one of the great players to have played in the NCAA in any year, seized on this moment.
Steal by Manning, he'll put it down. Here we go. He'll come to the line.
We had the Danny factor. He was simply the best player. Best players rise to the occasion and have a chance to win for you.
Those are the type of games that you dream about playing in, especially for the national championship.
Down the ball, lob pass to Manning.
Against Oklahoma in the finals, Manning once again led the way, pouring in 31 points while pulling down 18 rebounds, single-handedly leading his team to the title.
To see Danny come down with the rebound and the feeling he had, I don't know how it gets any better than that.
Kansas Jayhawks have beaten all odds. They have lost more games than any champion in the history of the NCAA. And Bedlam reigns here in Kansas City.
For us to be able to close out our career winning the national championship, you can't go out in any better fashion than that.
Back in a hurry come the Rebels and Larry Johnson. Johnson in the lane, and it counts. Oh, what a shot. Larry Johnson for 3. 3-on-1. Fast break. The trailer is Larry Johnson. He's got Larry Johnson. These guys they're precision.
Larry Johnson burst onto the NCAA tournament scene in 1990 and quickly established himself as college basketball's premier power forward.
He just fit in perfectly, and everybody accepted him, and we went from a real good team to a great team.
Johnson's on his left.
You know, Larry's an all-around player. He would score for you inside. He would pass the ball. He would set good screens. He would rebound. He would outlet the ball, and he worked very, very hard on defense. Larry's about as complete player as I've ever had.
Larry Johnson, basket counts and a foul.
We just tried to win every ball game, go out, play 110%, have fun, and win the game.
Throughout the season, UNLV dominated its opponents. Then at the 1990 Final Four, the Rebels powered their way past Georgia Tech as Larry led them to a championship game matchup against Duke.
One thing I remember from that game is he got a rebound like the first minute of the game. And it's kind of like a joke on our team, but like we all say that everyone fouled him. We all fouled him and he still scored.
Johnson's 22 points and 11 rebounds were a big part of the biggest championship game blowout in tournament history. A 103-73 trouncing that left little doubt in anyone's mind who was number one.
I'm not sure if we would have beaten them no matter what, because Vegas, they weren't going to be denied that night.
That was the greatest team I've ever been on. You know, that's all I can say.
Yeah, Larry's the best I've ever been around. And it wasn't only his ability, but it was everything that he brought to the team. as great a player as he is, he's an even better person.
I haven't did anything unique by winning a national championship. The national championship is won every year. I did something unique by making a close knitted family with these guys. The things that I cherish in Vegas that's on the top of my list is my brothers who I played with. That's what I'm gonna think about.
He has no weakness. I mean, he can do everything. He can score. He can rebound. He can defend. He can pass. He can shoot inside. He can shoot outside.
Looks for Leitner to pop outside. He does. Turns for the three. Bottom!
I've never seen a player who's been able to use confidence bordering on arrogance as effectively on the floor as Christian Leitner. Cockiness, even arrogance, even. And I think a lot of players don't really appreciate that in him. And he sort of likes that because he knows he's getting to them.
When you get to the college level, when you get to top 20 basketball, every person on the team and every team is pretty much equal athletically and basketball skill-wise. And the difference comes from mental preparation and from being enthusiastic and intense.
No other player in college basketball history has played in more NCAA tournament games or scored more tournament points than Duke's Christian Leitner. His legacy includes 4 consecutive Final Four appearances and 2 national titles, along with a reputation as the most clutch performer ever in the NCAA championships.
In a tough situation, he's the man. He's the go-to. He's the one you want with the ball in his hands with the game on the line.
With good reason. Whenever the situation dictated that Leitner had to come through, he did.
Leitner with the shot, and it scores! And Duke wins!
Leitner's overtime jumper against Connecticut in the 1990 tournament began his string of last-second heroics. A year later against UNLV at the 91 Final Four, Leitner's magic continued. Once again, Christian came through down the stretch, this time on Duke's way toward its first national championship.
Michelle going to the hole, pull-up jumper is up, it rolls off, tip, Leitner has a loose ball and he's fouled on the play, no shot, no shot. That means it's 2 free throws for Leitner with 12 seconds left. Maybe the 2 most important free throws of his career. First one's good.
I got chills going through me right now, just like I did at that point, because I knew we had him.
Shots up, shots in, Duke by 2, 79-77, full court pressure, but for 5 seconds to Hunt. Anderson Hunt stops, fires a 3. No, it's off the mark, it's over. The Blue Devils have pulled off the biggest upset in the history of Duke basketball. They have beaten the number 1 UNLV Running Rebels.
To get back to the Final Four in 1992, Leitner and Duke had to get past Kentucky in the East Regional Final. But when the Wildcats went ahead by a point with just 2 seconds to play, Duke's fate would again rest in the hands of Christian Leitner.
There was such a rush to your head, such a euphoric experience. You just looked up to the sky and said, I can't believe this is going to happen. And then suddenly it was taken away.
I was supposed to stand in the corner and then flash to the foul line. And Grant was supposed to throw me the ball at the foul line.
We knew the ball was going to Christian Leitner. There was not too much surprise with that. He was not going to make this in 2.1 seconds.
There's the pass to Leitner. Puts it up. Yes!
He won't let his team down, his coach down, his school down. Truly one of the great, great players in the history of basketball.
It It was a classic confrontation. Larry Bird of Indiana State against Magic Johnson of Michigan State in the 1979 NCAA Championship Final. In getting to the Final Four that year, Bird helped Indiana State accomplish a perfect 33-0 record, vaulting Larry and the Sycamores from virtual obscurity to national prominence over the course of one season.
No one had any inclination that he would develop into one of the best basketball players that has played the game.
Bird off to Reed, bounces one to Nick. Nick tries to work his way in, shovels one back to the Bird. Bird fires it up there, it's good. Larry Bird.
Bird, of course, was a great player, and his best talent was his ability to make everyone around him better.
I think he's the epitome of what every coach wants in a player. A player with a lot of talent, a player with a lot of heart, a player that's physically tough, a player that's mentally tough, and a player that's a consummate team man.
And everything just fell into place. And it was not only good for the college, it was good for the community, and it was good for the players, everybody involved. It was just something that happens once in a life.
In the Final Four against DePaul, Bird had a once-in-a-lifetime performance.
Bird to Miley. Back to Bird, he's there. Puts it up and in. 23 for Larry Bird. Right side
Bird made 16 of 19 shots and finished the game with 35 points, 16 rebounds, and 9 assists, setting up his showdown in the final with Magic Johnson. Just like Bird, Magic Johnson was a wizard with the basketball. His game a mixture of his talent, exuberance, and overflowing emotion.
Irvin Johnson going toward the baseline. Backs in, turns. Irvin puts up a shot. Good. Irvin Johnson. Will move by Keltooth. He drives inside, gives it off to Johnson, and he scores. Irvin Johnson comes to the rescue. What a big save.
Never before had a man his size played point guard. And never before had anyone distributed the ball with such a flair and brilliance.
Magic is the best player ever coached. I've said through the years that there are very, very few players that make other players better. And no one was as good at it as Irvin Magic Johnson.
Johnson high feet to Keltooth, and he puts it in.
At the 1979 Final Four, Magic and his Spartans overwhelmed an overmatched Pennsylvania team, jumping out to an incredible 38-8 lead. By game's end, Magic had what soon would be known as a triple-double, 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. More importantly, though, the anticipated showdown between Magic and Bird was about to begin.
It kind of captured the whole country. And as it built each week, it was almost like automatic that they were going to meet in the finals.
Looking back now, it was the first matchup between what became two of the greatest players of all time.
You don't often get two superstars against each other in the same game. And when you do, well, it sells tickets.
Broadcast coming to you from the Special Events Center, here on the campus of the University of Utah, in the Rocky Mountains.
All eyes were on the much-awaited matchup, but Michigan State's Judd Heathcote was only concerned about one part of it.
We had to stop Larry Bird from having one of those tremendous games that he had periodically. So we put great emphasis in our short preparation on stopping Bird. We said, if the other players beat us, so be it, but we're not going to let Larry Bird have a big night against us.
Bird did not have a big night. He shot poorly, making only 7 of his 21 shots.
Larry Bird got a rebound and tapped it in for his 8 points. Johnson of Michigan State.
Magic, however, lived up to his name, scoring 24 points en route to a 75-64 victory and a national title for Michigan State.
Defensive maneuver, hustle, there goes Johnson driving in, he puts it in, foul is going to be called on Indiana State. Moving in on Johnson with Bob Heaton that time, the basket will count by Johnson. 59 seconds remain, and that's all the Spartans have to do to hang on.
But the championship game of 1979 did more than mark the end of two great collegiate careers. It marked the beginning of a new era in basketball.
Michigan State has won the National Collegiate Basketball Championship here. Oh, Johnny.
Just an incredible night. I thought that was the real explosion, or the kickoff to the explosion in college basketball, with the visibility and the exposure in TV.
They put basketball back in perspective. They put passing back into the game. And it's never left.
I think they did more for coaching than has ever been done in basketball because they're team players. And coaches, day in and day out, preach team basketball.
We had did something that never happened to big men that could pass. They wasn't used to the way we played basketball, being unselfish. And I think that's what it caught on. It was infectious through the whole United States. And I think that was great. And I could just go on. There was so many great memories. And of course, the number one thing is beating Larry Bird in the championship. That's obvious.